We are doing this episode the week, the week of Christmas Eve, at least. Do you have any favorite Christmas specials that you remember from your childhood?
God, I do. There's the classics. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's always a big one in my family's household. I have this vague recollection of a special. It might have been Christmas. All I remember is there was a lot of snow, and it was called Mouse and Son, I believe.
Mouse and Son. I've never heard of this.
And I don't know if you have a recollection of the older cartoons, but they were not quite as friendly and as safe as they are today.
Wait, is this an old MGM cartoon that you're thinking of?
Let me describe and see if this rings any bells for anyone.
Sure.
It was about two toy mice. One was a father and one was a son. And I believe they yearned to escape the toy shop and see what was beyond their walls. And for some reason, it didn't work out, and they wound up getting trapped in some situation where they had to hold up an axe, or the father had to hold up an axe to keep it from falling upon his son. And because because he was mechanical, he had to keep winding himself up. And as he was winding himself up, the axe would fall again. So he was just in this constant torment of trying to save his son. And
what kind of cartoon is this? This sounds so scary to watch.
I don't know. There was so much frightening stuff as kids. And I'm 32 now. I don't really watch cartoons anymore. So I don't know if the Christmas specials of today are any nicer.
I think they are. I think there are no Christmas specials being animated today where a father has to keep doing the same thing over and over again to protect his son from a falling axe.
Yeah, Sisyphusian tradition has kind of gone out of cartoons. Back in the day, it felt like a lot of the cartoons were maybe... I don't want to insult today's cartoons, but it felt like back then, the old cartoons sort of treated their audiences, us kids, as though we were a little older and we could handle a little more stuff.
Well, I think that's partially because the cartoons that we watched when we were younger, the cartoons that were produced before our time, were kind of for an audience that was just going to the movies. Like MGM and Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah.
Were made for people who were sitting, waiting for a movie to begin.
Yeah.
And sometimes they were child-centric, like the one you're describing that ultimately has a very tense moment for all to be afraid of and possibly scarred some children. But I remember, I think it was an MGM cartoon. Can't remember the name, and I think there's kind of like two versions of it. But basically, it's like mice on Christmas, and they're telling the tale of like the last humans that were alive.
Oh,
do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember this. They were like recounting our massive world war.
Yeah,
that killed, and they were building houses in our discarded helmets and in the ruins of the tanks and everything.
Yeah, it's actually a great cartoon, but like as a kid, I remember being really afraid of it because
it was scary.
You see a man in like a gas mask and all this armor like die falling into like murky swamp water as like his hand falls into the water, and that's the last of the humans.
Oh my god, I remember that. Oh,
yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so scary. I wish I could remember the name. I'm sure anyone could find it just by a quick Google search.
Spooky. It was pretty heavy-handed in its messages.
Well, I believe the song Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas originally had tacked on there, For It May Be Your Last.
Oh, my God.
Because that was also made in World War II, I believe. Yeah. So there's kind of some heavy ideas floating around for children.
Yeah.
And Christmas. Not anymore. Now we have songs like This Christmas. Do you know that Christmas song?
Yeah. This,
and it's just about like two adults that are gonna sit by the fire and just have a hot Christmas alone.
Just have a nice hot Christmas together. Yeah, it does take on sort of a different meaning when you're older and you can't expect massive amounts of presents anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's how we get folks in the mood for Christmas as adults, but it's funny to see ourselves so removed from World War II that we don't have spooky, scary Christmas stuff anymore. It's all good and nice.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't want to talk too much about politics as is, but, the climate being what it is right now.
Sure.
Everyone's a little afraid. Stuff is happening. No one's quite sure what's going to happen. We might actually see the return of the prophetic apocalyptic cartoon.
Yeah, well, that's what I was actually thinking in this discussion, that may not be too far off. Kids might have scary cartoons again.
We might see a resurgence. Now, I know this one was not a Christmas special, but it was the most morbid thing I had ever seen.
I want to hear about it.
In addition to the apocalyptic cartoons, there were a number... Well, it was actually just a surprising amount of just really anti-war, anti-nuclear energy, anti-everything cartoons. Mm-hmm. And the one I recall very clearly was made around... It was about in the 60s. It was maybe in the Cold War or something, or right after. And it took place in this very futuristic home... and it was snowing gently outside. And I believe it's based off a short story. But this robot, this intelligent artificial intelligence, shows up, and he appears almost like a massive hand out of the wall. And he starts rousting the family of that home, of that very futuristic home, to come out and face the new day. And he comes around and says, Mrs. McClellan, come to dinner, or come get breakfast. And a chair rolls up, and it's just got like a pile of ash where a human once had been.
Oh my gosh!
And then it goes around saying like, "Oh, little Timmy, come up. You're going to be late for school." And this robot serves via a strange Rube Goldberg device. Serves a breakfast of like bacon and eggs to the small table of automatic chairs that roll up, and each of them has a pile of ash where a human should have been. And so the implication is that nuclear war has driven everyone into this home, and they all died sometime back, but the robot has not noticed and just keeps going.
I love that idea. Is that a cartoon?
It is a cartoon. You could actually find it online, I believe.
Yeah, I want to find it online. Do you remember what it's called at all?
Oh, God, it's something like As Snow Gently Falls or something.
Okay.
But it ended with a bird showing up in the window. And this robot turns to the bird, registers it, the first living thing, and asks it for identification. And the bird can't give identification because it's a bird. So the robot opens fire with like these lasers, but it can't hit the bird. The bird just keeps flying around like a lunatic, and the robot just destroys its home in an attempt to kill it. And then at the end, the robot has destroyed itself and everything in it, and the bird, not having any idea what it's just done, just sort of flies off. It was extremely I believe we saw it in my old social studies class.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't really see those types of cartoons anymore.
I was hoping that you were going to pull one on me right there and just be like, and he asked for identification, and the bird goes, and it's a Woody Woodpecker cartoon, folks. That would have been great, but unfortunately it was this sad, morbid reality.
I would have liked that. I would have liked to see how Woody Woodpecker got on in post-apocalyptic America.
I think he would have got by okay, that Woody. He's pretty clever.
Yeah, I mean, post-apocalypse cartoons are kind of an underutilized art form right now.
Well, who knows what will be coming in the years ahead, and I say that just about everything.
Oh, yeah.
Not to be so doom and gloom here, talking about all these things on this Christmas special episode, but it's important to talk about these things. But who knows what's going to happen? It's crazy. It's a weird time.
It is a weird time to be alive, but really, I would credit a resurgence in post-apocalyptic cartoons less to the idea of an impending apocalypse and more to the fact that they just try to resurrect Looney Tunes every 3 years or so.
Yeah.
And try to bring them back for like a hip new audience, but no one is ever watching.
No one is ever interested. However, I'm a big fan of those old Looney Tune cartoons, and in fact, I only recently realized what a big deal How the Grinch Stole Christmas was. I mean, Dr. Seuss, Chuck Jones...
Yeah.
And then voiceover by is it Boris Karloff?
I don't believe it's Boris Karloff. I believe his name was Ravencroft.
Ravencroft sang the song.
Song, but there was a lot of talent behind that.
Yeah, I only recently came to realize how great that is. Along with the Peanuts Christmas special being produced on I think it was $20,000 or $10,000 they made that thing on.
And Peanuts was another one of those shows that routinely treated its audience a little older than they probably were.
Yeah, I mean, you read those original Peanuts comics, which I love. I love that strip.
Oh, yeah.
But they're all pretty depressing jokes. I mean, the cartoon is about depressed children.
Yeah, it's about depressed, anxious children sort of working through their various neuroses.
In their little kid world.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
And that was wait. I remember... one of the ultimate Christmas specials. Speaking of kids working through their anxieties, do you remember a show on Nickelodeon called Hey Arnold?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the Christmas special?
Is that the one where Arnold is looking he's going to reconnect his tenant with his long-lost daughter?
Yeah, he lives in a house with his grandpa and grandma, and they run a boarding house. Mm-hmm. So they have various tenants, and one of them is a guy named Mr. Huyn. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Huyn is an immigrant from Vietnam. And throughout the story, we learned that during the Vietnamese War, he had to give up his daughter to get her out of the country. And eventually he made it over to New York and realized he had no idea how to find her. And so the entire Christmas special is in addition to just a very charming story about trying to find someone, there's a lot of war flashbacks going on as well.
Yeah, that's actually a great example to bring up in what we're talking about here, because that's a modern, I would say pretty modern. It's about 15 years old now, but in the scheme of more serious approaches to the Christmas special, that's probably the last one I can think of for children that explores some pretty adult themes. But it's a good episode. It's really good.
Yeah, I really enjoy. I kind of feel bad because so often when I was a kid, Hey Arnold, I would go watch something else because I didn't get Hey Arnold because it was weirdly it was talking about a lot of stuff that I did not understand at the time. Mm-hmm. But now I feel almost like I cheated myself a little. Yeah,
I started watching when they started doing the 90s special block on one of the Nickelodeon channels.
Right.
I started watching it because I was like, oh, yeah, I love these cartoons. And they would play Hey Arnold. And through that, I realized, I was like, oh, man, Hey Arnold is a great show. Yeah. There's a lot of episodes that revolve around just urban legend, which is one of my favorite things.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
The Pigeon Man and
the Pigeon Man, the Stoop Kid. The Ghost Train. There's a Ghost Train episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of... That's a really fun show with a great Christmas special, and I think they only did that one. Growing up, I was fond of, and this is another sad Christmas special, but it's a quality one. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Did you watch that growing up?
I don't think so.
It was a Jim Henson production, and it's based off, I think, a Canadian book about some animals. It's animals in this town, like these poor animals who start a jug band to try and win a contest so this kid could buy his mom like a nice dress or something like that.
Right.
It's a really great, there's like great music. The puppets are great because it's Henson. So Kermit's in it. He narrates it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a good special. I think it was made for HBO, but Christmas, man. It's Christmas week, and I think it's due time that I introduce my guest on Tales from the Tavern, episode 29, Mr. Sam Sykes.
Well,
welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Author Sam Sykes, I should say.
That is me.
This is the first time we've had an actual fantasy author on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, we usually do. This is primarily a comedy-focused show, just kind of having fun, having people just, pick up the reins of fantasy and steer it wherever you want to go.
Right.
But you're the first person who has written fantasy stories before who's guested on this show. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are the author of City Stained Red.
That is correct.
You can go to samsykes.com. Sykes, and you can actually read the first chapter right on his website for free. We have tales today. We have tales of bells and ghosts. Oddly enough, pretty topical for the season that it is.
I believe so. Like this has always struck me as like a very haunted season, perhaps more than we give it credit for.
Yeah, well, there's that Christmas song where it's like there'll be tales of ghost stories, and like that's one of the lyrics. I forget which Christmas song it is, and I imagine they're talking about a Christmas carol, but it is ghosts are a part of the season. And Bells was suggested by Luke Noodles. Ghosts was suggested by Zankeef. If you would like to vote or suggest your own prompts, you can do so by becoming a patron at patreon.com/TFTTpod. There's more information there, but guys, I want to get into the fantasy here, the holiday fantasy, maybe holiday themed, maybe not. Who knows? What do you say we get right into it, Sam? Let's just get right into it. What do you say?
Let's have at it.
Let's have at ye. All right, Sam. Are you ready for my tale of bells and ghosts?
I cannot wait.
Well, it's starting, so here we go.
Let's have at it.
It was a fine day in Orkspire. Fine for those who could afford it. Yes, I'm talking about the fortunates of Orkspire. Their lives were fine today because they could afford clean water, a place to shit, and food that did not come from a bin labeled fucked apart garbage.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was fine, all right. Fine if you didn't care. So that's what we're just going to set up the holiday theme.
Of course.
Existing in the world somewhere.
Let's keep on it, yeah.
Walking through the Fodrum forest was an adult man pulling a worn cart full of goods. Oh, he was a man, all right. A traveling man. A traveling salesman who donned a red tunic with matching brown boots and hood. Matching had just started in Orkspire, and this traveling merchant liked to think of himself as with it, having been well-traveled and all.
Oh, my.
The man's name was Fred. Fred Fizdern. We know this because it was written on the side of his cart in ye old red paint. Fred Stuff. Copyright Fred Fizdern. Sure, Fred's cart had the usual items. Swords from orcish armies, boots made by elves, and even old Grinkle-Cut's goblin gel. Is that gel for goblins or out of goblins? I'm going to say, I know that the gel is green, so it may be from goblins. It's old Grinkle-Cut, so it's his secret recipe.
Old Grinkle-Cut would never part with it.
Yeah, it's old Grinkle-Cut, 100% authentic goblin gel. And most goblins use it to gel their hair, but it's kind of like gosh, just one of those gels that you could use for any old thing.
Right.
You know, I'll let the audience figure out what other uses that goblins probably use this gel for.
All right, fair enough.
Though among these average items were other things. Things not yet understood by the merchant. Oh yes, bit of mystery in this tale. Things perhaps others would know their true use. Magic things.
Oh.
Things like this really big pine cone Fred found at the trunk of a little tree. Someone's got to know what that's about. Magic items were important to Fred, for this is what people really looked for when a traveling merchant such as himself comes barreling through town. It was his duty to carry magic items, but more importantly, they were worth more coin. And more coins means a better chance of finding a magic coin, which if you have one of those, you're rich. I mean, you are rich.
Exactly.
I'm not too sure what a magic coin does, but I have an idea that it's probably going to bring more coins in some shape or form.
I mean,
it's just a rumor that they exist, so who knows what it does. But.
Right. But you can't really, sell it, can you? Because it's a magic coin, so you need to hold on to it to make magic.
Yeah, but just like when you get change from the bank or something, you could have a penny that's worth $1 million or something. Oh. You know, it's kind of like that, but it also probably can make special things happen.
Or perhaps
give you powers.
Perhaps with sensible planning and saving, the real magic is capitalism. And you can grow that. And maybe it's a metaphor.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Maybe the magic coin is inside your pocket this whole time.
Maybe you, listening to this podcast, have a magic coin of your own.
Oh, man. You know what? I think that's what it's all about, Sam. Thanks for figuring that out.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
The fresh scent of pine surrounded Fred and cooled the air. He exhaled a comforted sigh. Ah, 'tis nice to have a bit of coin in this world of shit. The traveling merchant was enjoying his afternoon stroll when he noticed something propped up against one of the trees off in the distance. Perhaps it was a body. Oh. Fred got excited. Oh, yes, finding a body was one of Fred's favorite things. He lived for the thrill of discovering just about anything inside the pockets of the deceased, including dark realizations about oneself that Fred preferred not to dwell on.
Of course.
Fred approached the tree. It was indeed a body. An old body. A super old body. I mean, it was just bones with some clothes on. Fred crouched to examine them. The bones were strong, yet small. Fred figured they belonged to a dwarf. Its torn tunic revealed a few broken ribs on the skeleton. He searched its pockets, but found nothing. He looked at the skull. The jaw fell open as some weird mist flew out of its mouth and into his face. Haunted, it seemed to whisper. Said Fred. Guess I'm just going to have to take these dwarf bones. The merchant swung his bell loudly as he continued down the road. Dwarf bones for sale, he shouted. The bones didn't look particularly magic to Fred, but you never know with bones. Soon, a voice called to the man. Wait, merchant! Stop! It shouted. Fred turned around to see an old man in rags hobbling out of a damp cave. Slowly, he made his way to the cart. I'll take 2, the old man proclaimed. I'm sorry, replied Fred. I'm only selling it as a complete set. What? The dwarf bones. It's a whole bunch of them together. The old man smacked his palm against his forehead. Oh, jeez. I thought you were the ice cream man with the bell and all. It sounded like you were saying dwarf cones. Like ice cream cones made by dwarfs.
Oh.
No, sadly, no cones in this cart. But today may be your lucky day, old man. Fred reached into his cart. You don't always have the opportunity to purchase one of a kind. He lifted the bones out of the cart. Authentic dwarf bones.
Oh. Now, I would have thought a dwarf cone was perhaps like a regional specialty.
Yeah, well, like, now that I hear dwarf cone,
right?
That could also mean like dwarves who have gone deaf, who need like a hearing cone to hold up to their ear. Useful in that way, but it's probably, they probably make way better delicious ice cream cones.
Well, dwarves are renowned for their craftsmanship, so and baking. Yeah, you have to figure that whatever dwarf dedicates himself to the fine art of ice cream crafting probably makes just some incredible ice cream.
Now that we talk about it, I'm sure there's a pretty good story in there about a dwarf ice cream man who runs just an awesome parlor with all these new age flavors. I think we'll get back to that.
We'll go back to it. Yeah.
The old man rubbed his chin as he considered the bones. Are they rare? Yes, pretty rare. You'd have to rob a grave or kill a dwarf to get something like this. And with this set, you don't have to wait for the flesh and muscle to decay. It's bare bones ready to go. Oh, the old man was impressed. Well, here's my thing. My living room is boring. I want to make it interesting. Do you think these bones would do that? Oh, yeah, Fred answered. If I went into someone's house and they just had bones of a dwarf sitting upright in a chair in the living room, I'm going to want to know about those bones. That's a conversation starter. True. But I just bought them from a man who I thought was the ice cream man. That's not a very interesting story. Fred leaned in. Just make some shit up, he whispered. They're your bones now. The old man nodded. He got it. He looked Fred up and down. Do you match? He asked. Why, yes, I do. Frickin' frack, I'll take those bones! Oh. That night, Fred found a safe and quiet place to rest within the wood for himself and his new cache of gold from selling dwarf bones. He laid on the back of his cart as he covered himself in a wool blanket. Soon, the man was dreaming, and in his dream he saw a dwarf, alive and well, facing a tree he was whizzing on. Ah, said the dwarf, now that's over, it's back to being a traveling sales dwarf, when suddenly his cart full of goods barreled into him, crushing his body against the tree.
Oh, no.
Shit! Fred woke up. What was that about? He asked aloud. He tossed the blanket off of himself and got up to take a whiz of his own. The dwarf made it look pretty good in the dream. Soon pee was trickling down the bark of a pine tree. The sound was oddly soothing to the man. So soothing, he drifted back to sleep standing up. Sooner, the man was dreaming again.
Oh, no.
And in this dream, he was in a cave. In the living room of a cave. This living room is boring, thought Fred, when suddenly the old man from earlier flew into the room wearing a nightcap and nightgown, being carried by the ghost of the dwarf from the other dream. Oh my God, the old man shouted. He was getting fucked up. The dwarf smashed him over a vase, broke a wicker chair with his old body, and finally he chokeslammed him by his own dick. Oh no, Fred said.
Oh my God.
Just then the merchant snapped out of the dream and back into reality where he was still holding his whizzing dong. Shit, he thought to himself. If that guy's dead, that's one less guy to buy my stuff, plus maybe I could sell him that crazy pine cone. I gotta go back. Fizdern sheathed his wangus, grabbed onto his cart, and traveled back to the cave where he once met the old man. Yes, it's probably a bad idea to lug this cart around if he's trying to get somewhere in a hurry, but just because someone's got money doesn't mean they're all that smart, you know?
Right.
Longer than soon, the traveling salesman returned to the cave. He entered. Dark, quiet, deadly quiet. He turned on a candle and saw on the ground a pile of old man bones. Its jaw fell open and out of its mouth blew some mist that carried the whisper, "A ghost choke slammed me by my dick, you son of a bitch." Or at least that's what it sounded like. I mean, who knows what it said. Fred stared at the bones for a moment. Guess I'm just going to have to take these old man bones, he said. Old bones for sale. Rare old man bones. Da-ding, 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 he shouted as he clamored his bell for all to hear in the middle of the night. When he noticed that he had suddenly returned to the place where he'd found those dwarf bones. That's weird, the merchant said aloud for all of us to hear. I only walked like 5 steps out of that cave. Haunted! A mist rolled in through the pines. Fred tried to think nothing of it as he pulled his cart and continued ringing his bell, this time with mild caution. Regardless, the sound of the bell began to echo and echo like some crazy dream. The ringing intensified and soon overwhelmed the man. He dropped the bell and clasped his ears. He tried to speak, but the only words that came out were Sinab Nam Error Elas Roth and Sinab Luld. Fred could only think, what the fuck? When suddenly it got weirder. 2 pale figures came to form within the mist and began to step toward the merchant. As they did, Fred could make out their faces. 1, the dwarf. 2, the old man. Looting the bodies of the dead, the dwarf ghost boomed. That is unforgivable. Have you no shame? I'm just doing my job, Fred pleaded. But that's our stuff, the old man ghost shouted. You guys are dead, Fred argued. You're literally never going to use that stuff ever again. The dwarf ghost thought about this for a moment. Okay. All right, you got a point. Thank you, Fred replied. But you can't be taking and selling bones anymore. That's wrong, especially on Christmas, man. That's fucked up. What the hell is Christmas? Fred asked. Oh shit, they don't have Christmas here yet, the dwarf ghost said to himself. Well, still, he said, addressing Fred again. Not stealing bones and selling them is a good rule to live by. Fred thought about this. Hey, who are you to say what I should and shouldn't do? Didn't you just kill that other guy by chokeslamming him by his own old dick? That is my rage, I admit, okay, said the dwarf. I got a rage problem, a ghostly rage problem, and I'm dealing with it. Just then, Fred heard a loud snap and a crash. He looked behind him to find the old ghost breaking the wheel of his cart with a ghost of a hammer. Hey, he shouted. I died because of you, the ghost yelled. You sold me bad bones. With enough vengeance claimed, the ghost faded away, along with the mist. Out of the broken cart rolled the giant pine cone. It smacked against a rock on the ground and cracked open. Out of it hatched a full-grown woodhawk. Good news, spoke the hawk. You've already begun your journey to having the most successful cart in all the land, and your next step is the Twiggo Branch Business Retreat, where you'll learn how to shout new and exciting words, jigs to attract crowds, and try out huge calling bells that can be purchased at acceptable prices. All this is available to you at the cost of 100 gold pieces or 15 cool things. The woodhawk put its sharp beak against the inside of the cart and began to carve out Twiggo Branch Business Retreat in the wood. He stood straight to speak again. That's Twiggo Branch Business Retreat, located in the magical forest of Florn, right next to the trolls who can crush your dick by smacking it with an old tool. The woodhawk flew away.
Oh my god. There's a lot of this does not seem like a safe place for most dicks.
Look, I would say Orkspire is not a safe place for a dick. If you're gonna be in Orkspire, wear a cup or a codpiece, something to protect yourself. I would say most traveled adventurers have some kind of protection down there.
Or at least have the good instincts to watch their own dicks.
Yes, to watch your own dick.
Of course, that's just good advice. That's just good advice.
That's solid advice for everyone. Watch your own dick, guys. I think I might have to go on that business retreat, Fred said to himself. He looked to his cart again to see that the old man's bones were still sitting in the back. And I got just the ticket. The end.
Oh so my goodness!
This was a Christmas story about
that was about the sharing and the giving.
Sharing, the appropriate handling of the bones of dead people.
Of course.
And Christmas cheer.
And what I like best about that is the old man's ghost who takes his revenge by just fucking up the cart just a little.
Yeah, oh yeah, just a little. I guess that satisfied him. He disappeared after that.
Yeah, I mean, that to me strikes me as a ghost that has his priorities in order. Like, yeah. He's not above a little vengeance from beyond the grave, but it's not his number one thing. It's not what he's all about.
And to be honest, if I'm a ghost, someone killed me, I'm gonna get a taste of vengeance, but I'm gonna get a bigger taste of flying around and doing ghost stuff.
Yeah, there's other stuff to do as a ghost. You have the world is your oyster.
Did you want to visit the top of a mountain without having the elements harm your skin or anything like that? You could just go do that. Just go float right up there.
You could just go into people's houses. What are they going to do? They can't do anything. You're a ghost.
You could shake a can of coins at someone, and it would scare them. Because,
it would startle them.
Yeah, you could scare other people. Screw the guy who killed you. Do what you want to do as a ghost.
Think of the average house and how many doors it has that you could open or close. And that's an entire day.
That's an entire day. And just having people go, what was that? Trying to figure it out.
Just seeing them get spooked.
I think there's a lot more enjoyment of spooking regular folks in a fun prank kind of way than getting vengeance, because that's like there's a lot of bitterness attached to that.
But on the other hand, if you have enough vengeance, they'll probably make a movie out of you.
Ooh, yeah. True.
But it'll be like based on a true story, and it'll never stick to the legend
of what really happened.
Yeah, they'll cast someone like much nicer looking than you to play you.
And it'll be kind of offensive to you. You probably get your feelings hurt. It's just a bitter road to go down.
I mean, just the real Christmas lesson here is just don't have vengeance.
Don't have vengeance.
Or at least have a little vengeance, but then, do other stuff.
Do other stuff and dwarf cones.
Dwarf cones. Have a dwarf cone.
Get yourself some Christmas ice cream.
Just have a little dwarf cone and just see your day improve 100-fold.
100-fold. What kind of flavor are you getting on that dwarf cone, Sam?
Oh, I really like taro root flavored ice cream, but I can't say that publicly because everyone makes fun of me for wanting to have taro root ice cream.
Was that a real ice cream?
It is. I got it because it was purple.
Ooh.
I have very rarely seen a purple ice cream.
Yeah, if I saw a purple ice cream, I would want it. What does it taste like?
It tastes very clean, crisp, sort of very understatedly fruity. It is the thinking man's Tutti Frutti.
Oh, I like the way you put that. I want some taro root now.
You live in LA. You could probably find it.
I'm going to write that down.
Get on it.
Taro root. Okay. All right. I was going to say I just want plain old vanilla, but
I do like vanilla too. Like, really, there's no such thing as bad ice cream.
No. I am a sherbet. When I was a kid, I loved sherbet, though.
Oh, same.
So good. I think it was a color thing, too, because it's all the colors.
Well, it was Dave Chappelle who, described purple drink as just purple.
Yeah. That's the flavor.
That's the flavor, purple.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I love purple. I love blue. I love blue. I
love the taste of blue. I enjoy green.
I like a green. If it's green apple, not so much, but I like green.
Green can get back on you, but purple rarely betrays you.
Love a purple Jolly Rancher.
If it's not grape, it's probably something just as good.
It's probably taro root.
Grape or taro root. I liked your story a lot.
Thank you.
I feel perhaps a little off theme, but this is definitely a fantasy story. It has fantastic elements, and it is suitably haunting.
Ooh, yes. Well, hey, I got to tell you, Christmas was kind of shoehorned in at the last minute in the last one. So you do what you want to do. I'm looking forward to hearing about your bells and ghosts.
Well, this one takes place in perhaps a more modern setting. So we might call it a little urban legend to link back to what we have.
I love an urban legend, so
this one deals with a certain phenomenon. And here we go.
All right.
Perhaps you've heard of this phenomenon, a curiosity of the world called EVP? This wasn't the question I had anticipated being asked when I walked into the shop, but there was something to the quirk of the old woman's wizened brow and the crook of her smile as her old hands glided over the radio, something that said, "You should have just bought a new radio." "Go on and laugh, if you will," she said, sneering. I hadn't laughed, but she seemed like she was about to get into a serious thing, so I didn't want to interrupt. "But it's a fool that believes the worlds of the living and the dead are separate entirely." Both brows, extra wizened, lofted this time, so I knew things had just grown very serious indeed. "They speak to us sometimes, where the walls are thinnest and the world is quietest, through the mutter of wind, through the whisper of water, and sometimes," she ran her hands over the old radio on her workbench, "through our own inventions." "Wow," I said. "That's amazing." I stared at my feet for a moment, shuffled them, self-conscious. "So, can I have my radio back, or—" "The dead," she suddenly snapped, staring off to somewhere suitably dramatic, "are restless. And when they have a message, it is a wise man who listens." "It's just that it was a family heirloom," I said, clearing my throat, like my grandma really liked it, so I was going to get it fixed for her for Christmas, and it is a wise man, she asked. "Oh, you're not finished. Sorry." I mumbled. "Who will listen to what they have to say on this day." I pursed my lips together, kept my eyes on my feet. After a moment's time, and with the keen realization of a pair of expectant eyes on me, I looked up. "Oh," I said, do I do something here, or—" "You've come seeking answers," the old woman whispered, voice like a stage weight plummeting onto the kid that had to play the role of the tree in the second grade pageant. I paused, bit my lower lip, sighed. Yeah, sure, I've come seeking answers." Not that I really had the inclination to see this particular incident play out, or the time, but I got the impression from the fine layer of dust coating the antiques of her shop that the old woman didn't receive much company. Also, it seemed like she put a lot of work into this, so, I mean, what if there were ghosts? I didn't want them to think I was an asshole. She nodded, sagely, as though she expected this all along. Or maybe as though she really was about to tell me the time she smoked weed and saw Duke Ellington or something. I don't know. I really wasn't good in situations like this. Her spindly fingers went to the dial of the radio. She turned it once, twice, 3 times. Then back again to the twice position, because I guess she went too far. Then, as the radio crackled to life, she held that finger to her thin lips, which seemed a little rude to me, as I wasn't talking to begin with, but... "Hello?" My blood ran cold. My eyes went wide. My heart skipped a beat, which was super alarming, given my family's history of heart disease. But once I made a note to include more soluble fiber in my diet, the shock of the disembodied voice wafting from the radio on electric whispers hit me. Is someone there?" the voice crackled. It wavered and trembled, but I could distinctly make out the voice of a man, distant and fading, as though from a very long way away, perhaps from a town called Ghostville. I feel like I'm not alone." I was extremely spooked. I mean, not like super afraid or something. A radio that gave voice to dead people was still just a radio, you know? Mm-hmm, it's like those cameras that take pictures of dead people. Are they supposed to do anything besides just be kind of unpleasant and unsettling? Also, I still wanted my radio back. My grandma, Christmas was in a few hours, and it was all across town, and I didn't want there to be a huge thing. So right. I said, leaning forward, "Is this going to take a while?" Or, I can see you are not convinced," the old woman said, her lips crooked in a grin. "But many a doubter turns to the truth when the bleak light of truth shines upon them." She used truth twice in the same sentence, which kind of diminished the dramatic effect. But before I could tell her that, she raised a single bell. Again, she held a finger up to her lips, and it was still really rude, Then she rang the bell, and in the radio's electric garble, I heard it ring out. And I was not the only one. "Oh my God!" the voice in the radio screamed out. "What was that? Was that the brown note? Did I poop myself? Did I?" He paused. I heard the shuffling of cloth. "No, I guess I... Wait! No, I guess I didn't. But what a shock that was. Who even knew?" The old woman looked at me with severity in her eyes. I started, realizing I had been listening without any particular start. I thought I might open my mouth and look shocked or something, but then she looked back to the radio, so I didn't really bother. "My God, Margaret was right," the voice rasped through the radio. "I was a fool to think that coming to this part of town was a good idea. I should have just stayed at home and listened to something on Pandora or something." "Pandora?" I asked, louder than I thought. When the woman glared at me, I lowered my voice. "Pandora? What's wrong with that?" she whispered. "It's a very useful app." "Yeah, I just thought this communicated with dead people." "It does." "No, but like real dead people, like old and stuff." "Plenty of people are dead. They all have messages." "Right, but like she held her finger to her lips again. I kept talking. "You keep doing that, even when I'm not talking. I'm just..." "But no," the voice rapped in the radio. "I just had to come to myself. I'm still hip," I told myself. "It was just a one-time thing. It happens to lots of men." His voice lowered to a growl. "Not these guys, I bet, though. Look at them swaggering around. Lord knows what would have happened if I brought Margaret with me." "Is he, I furrowed my brow. Who is he talking about here?" "I'm sure he's just commenting on fellow lost souls," the old woman said. "Really? Because it sounds like he's commenting on something a little racist." "The dead have a message," she said. "Yeah, no, you keep saying that, but it's fine. It's fine. He's just, the woman made a hapless shrug, like, I don't know, confused or something." "Are you sure? Like, he really sounds really..." "Oh, Lord," the voice garbled out on the radio. "Oh, Lord, just the thought of them in my house, taking sweet Margaret's brassieres and putting them..." Okay, yeah," the old woman said as she clicked the radio off. That was definitely going somewhere a little racist." "God, it's probably my fault," the radio kept rambling. "Maybe if I had spanked her that one time like she asked instead of..." "Hang on," the woman said, clicking to... Hang on, it's a bit sticky." "But how was I supposed to know? It's not like a fella gets a warranty when he..." There we go. The dial clicked shut. The voice faded. The old woman looked at me with severe eyes. "You have been handed a warning, young man." "Oh, really?" I asked. "What, can you tell me what it was?" "Of course I can," she said. A long pause ensued. "So, should I ask..." "Family," she snapped. "Family is what is truly important in this world. Nothing else can break it, not even death." "Oh," I said. "Yeah." "Cool." "It is cool," she said. "Family is very cool." I cleared my throat, reached for the radio. So then can I just... "Oh, yeah, no, here." She scooted out of the way as I took the device up and began to walk out the door with it. "And never forget, young man," she called after me. "Family is like real powerful." If only I had listened. If only. That is the end.
that was great. I have to ask, this man, he's perhaps sitting in his car contemplating his past actions, this ghost of a man?
I like to think he is perhaps, he has made some mistakes, and perhaps this regret is what is keeping him bound to this earthly plane instead of moving on.
Ah, yes.
But it wasn't like he killed anyone or anything. He just drove to a different neighborhood and had some fairly questionable thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not really... It's much in the same theme as your story, in that there's not a lot of vengeance going on here.
No.
He's just sort of made some weird decisions in his life.
Yeah.
And he must answer for those.
Yes. And we all may, because as we know, family is powerful.
Family is hella powerful.
And it's cool.
Super cool.
Super cool. That's the thing. There's probably a lot of people listening to this show, maybe a lot of younger people listening to this show who don't think family is cool.
Maybe you think you're a little too cool for family. Well, guess again.
Let me tell you something. Family is powerful and family is cool. So, check yourself. I like that this Christmas message is fresh. It's new. I've never heard that message before. The Christmas message of the story is family is cool and powerful.
Yeah,
and
just
it's usually like family is important. The family is cool and powerful. And that's maybe why it's important, but like underline those aspects, you're going to cut right to a younger audience. They're going to get it. And I think a lot of people out there did today.
Yeah, the hip young kids, they know a thing or two about, they might doubt that family is important, but now they'll realize that family is cool.
And powerful.
Just incredibly cool. I like to think that perhaps there's a hierarchy for ghosts, and like only the really boring or lame ones get sentenced to being EVP.
Yeah.
Electric voice phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like, so, like if you did something really cool, like led a mass murder. If you do that, then you get to be like the ghost in Poltergeist.
I would just say maybe let's change the choice of words. Mass murder, probably not that cool.
All right, yeah, not cool.
Because family is cool.
Like, if you do
family is cool.
If you do something with a fairly notable, let's say,
yes,
people would remark that you are perhaps not a great guy.
Yes,
you might come back as like a very powerful spirit.
Yes.
And if you just perhaps died in a very strange or horrific way, you might come back as a spirit that rattles doors and haunts things and paints blood on the wall.
Yes.
But if you like died in an extremely lame way, you come back as a voice on the radio.
EVP. So, just a guy being like, geez, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Oh,
yeah, geez. Like if like you get startled while you're sitting on the toilet and you think your house is on fire, but it's really just the smoke alarm going off, and you run out and in your haste you trip and fall and break your neck, you have died in such a spectacularly lame way that you are destined to come back as EVP.
As EVP who thought they shit themselves.
Who thought you should shit themselves via the brown note.
Via the brown note. So let that be a lesson to everyone out there. Don't die lamely.
Don't die. Make every day count.
Make every day count with your family that's cool and powerful.
With your cool and powerful family.
I gotta say, that's way more Christmas than my story was, Sam. Thank you.
You know what? I thought it was time.
It was time.
It was time to get back on track with a vaguely Christmas-like message.
So, Sam, I read the first chapter of City Stain Red.
Right.
Everything is, I don't want to spoil it, but everything has gone to shit.
Right.
By the end of that first chapter. Tell me about City Stain Red a little bit more.
So, I grew up reading D&D tie-in novels, and I grew up playing video games. RPG specifically.
Did you read Dragonlance by any chance?
I did. I read so much Dragonlance.
I've read most of the very first Dragonlance book, and it's fun. It plays like a video game.
It's fun, but see, I read that back when I was like 14. Yeah.
Like
I found it's very hard to go back.
Yes, yeah. I had a fine time getting through it. I didn't get through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, what kind of RPGs did you play growing up?
I did not get to play a lot of tabletop RPGs, but I played like all these JRPGs because back in the day it was only JRPGs. Western companies didn't really make RPGs.
No.
Up until
just throw a couple out there. Which one should you play?
Final Fantasy VII
of course.
holds a dear place in my heart. Grandia.
Oh yes,
I spent a long
game.
time. And Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, of course. And this all went on until I started playing the first Western RPG that I had called Icewind Dale.
Oh, yeah.
And Icewind Dale is where you can create your own party of adventurers. And this, the whole reason I'm explaining my backstory on this is this helped shaped my opinion of what an adventurer was. I believe the game wanted me to believe that an adventurer was someone who was kind and noble and out to save the world. Whereas the impression I got from playing these games was that an adventurer was a sort of lowlife, a violent thug who would break into your house and rifle through your belongings.
I can do whatever I want. I'll act like an awful human being.
Yeah, pretty much. So I wanted to write a story about adventurers based on that definition. So the City Stained Red features a party of 6 adventurers, and they have just come from one of their very grand adventures out in the wilds, and they are returning to a place of civilization. Now, our main hero, Lank, who you meet in the first chapter, wants to settle down here. He wants to just live his life out in civilization. He's done fighting. He's done murdering. But things don't quite go according to plan because adventurers are still a low-life class, so no one really wants them around.
And I was saying that before we started rolling here. I read the first chapter on samsykes.com. You can check it out. There's a great exchange between Lank and this guard who's not letting him into the city.
Right.
And it just struck such a chord for me because I think I like to tap into that a little bit in my stories, the practicality, like the reality of what would really happen if this world really existed.
Right.
And I just love that so much. I feel like it hit such a true note. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's basically the attitude that guided me on this. Is if you knew adventurers, you would probably not want to have anything to do with them because they seem pretty gross and violent. When they get into this city, it turns out there is a power struggle going on between 2 thieves guilds.
Oh.
Who are fighting for control of the cities, or of the city. And this is a city, it's the city of Serjal. It's the richest city in the world because it's the only city that can make silk. And its silk is made from giant spiders. There are all these noble families who all have bred their own spiders. And these thieves are sort of fighting for control of it. And against this all, there is a looming threat of 2 religious armies stationed in the city who are just looking for an excuse to take over. Behind that, even, there is something even more insidious. Someone is summoning demons in the city. And these are vile demons that enter a human and feed on their negative thoughts and slowly grow big and eventually burst out. So all these plots interweave somehow. There's a great conspiracy going on. And our hero wants to not find it. He would rather just ignore it and go find a new life. But unfortunately, it looks like he might not be able to do that.
Getting too old for this shit.
Right.
And City Stained Red is the first in a series?
First in a series called Bring Down Heaven. The second book is also out. It's called The Mortal Tally. And after that, the third book will be out next year, and it's called God's Last Breath.
That's great, man. And these are all available on Amazon?
Amazon, wherever fine books are sold.
You can get an ebook of the first installment right now for, I believe, $1.99. Is that correct?
I believe there's a sale going on right now. Depending on when you listen to this fine episode, it might have changed. But, if you're an avid listener of Tales from the Tavern, you should hop on it.
Yes.
So if you have made it this far and you still haven't bought it, and now it's full price again, well, you only have yourself to blame.
You have yourself to blame, but you should still act on it. You should still act on it. You deserve it.
You do.
But people can find out more about your books at samsykes.com. That's
samsykes.com. Yes.
SAMSYKES.com.
Yes.
And they can also follow you on Twitter, which you are a delightful follow.
I do show my dogs off there a lot.
And that's at Sam Sykes Swears, which is a great Twitter handle as well. Were you a big Diablo guy?
I was. I feel there is a certain magical age where you don't notice repetition.
Yes.
Like all you can see is the goal, so you don't notice that you're just doing the same thing over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's the age when you need to appreciate Diablo.
Yes.
And I did play quite a bit of it. And
Diablo is talked about on this show every 4 episodes, I think.
Oh, fantastic.
1 or 2 did you play?
I played 1 back when it was ported over to the PS1.
Ooh.
And then I played 2 for a while. 3 I didn't really get into as much.
3's a fun. It's a fun mechanic, but I prefer 1 and 2. One's the spookiest, I think.
1 definitely has all the horror elements in it.
Also, you can't run, so that makes it scary.
Yeah, and you're always in a claustrophobic dungeon. Mm-hmm. There's no escape.
Ooh, dang! I really want to play Diablo.
Yeah, same. Now I kind of want to fire up a warrior.
I tried to play as a sorcerer last time I played, and I got to the first part of where it starts to be like Diablo's lair, and there were like Chaos Knights that had a resistance to any of my spells, so there was no way I could proceed. So I just turned the game off.
That was an interesting. That's another part you need to be that old to figure out. Like at that point, it does not strike you as weird or cheating that you could invest all this time in something and then get down there and then find out that like you've wasted your entire game time.
Yeah, like 6-8 hours, however long it's been.
Like if you did that today, you would just turn it off and not go back. But like back then, you would just start over.
You would have a community clamoring for a patch and horrible reviews on your game. Right.
No, there was definitely a certain tolerance for grinding and whatnot back then.
Did you? And I'm just going to throw this one out there because it fits the same mold of these games. But did you ever play Champions of Norath, the EverQuest dungeon crawler?
I did not. I just saw that featured on Continue.
That's right. They played it recently.
Yeah, I was big into EverQuest for a while, but like when I parted, it was a nasty breakup. Like,
yes, I had a pretty bad breakup.
Like at that point, I didn't want anything to do with it, and I never got a chance to play their dungeon crawler, their Diablo 2. But from the looks of it, I don't think I missed that much.
I would say at the time it was a great time with multi-tap, the 4-player multi-tap. But watching that Continue episode, it didn't look as pretty as I once remembered it.
No,
but you bring up an interesting point that before WoW came along, and a lot of people had relationship clashes. Both outside and inside the game.
Yeah.
And that resulted in an ultimate breakup at some point. But we had already been through that with EverQuest, and the breakup with EverQuest was much harder because you had to grind so much. So you would put so much time into it, into one character.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately like why I think I got lured into World of Warcraft as well, is because like EverQuest, despite the name, there were no quests. It was just you had to kill mobs over and over and over.
Well, except for the epic, like each class had an epic, and that's like the only quest that people really do.
Yeah, and that was a neat quest and all, and you got a nice dagger or whatever. Then comes along WoW, and it's saying all the right things, and it is just like a bad breakup because you've been through this terrible thing, and then suddenly here's this here's this person that
this
is
new romance.
This new romance of everything that the last person was not. And now you feel like, oh, now I've really got a chance. And then it's like, you settle in and you're like, oh, wait a minute. This is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. You realize slowly, very slowly, you're like, oh, I'm in the same bad relationship.
Yeah, like it's a little better because it's more solo friendly. Like that was the worst part of EverQuest is your fate was entirely in someone else's hands.
Oh yeah.
And like I even have this problem with like Overwatch now where it's like I guess every video game only lasts as long as it takes you to realize you're basically not learning anything. And with Overwatch, with multiplayer games, that comes a lot quicker because you'll just go through like a 30-minute match and it's tight, and then one of your teammates will just go the wrong way, and you're like, great, because that guy went the wrong way, I just wasted like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
That's like a bitter pill to swallow.
That's why I can't play MOBAs.
Yeah.
I feel like those are even more frustrating because people get so angry at your performance too. Like,
yeah, like I'm kind of a hypocrite because on the one hand, like, I guess it's consistent, but like on the one hand, I judge people for acting poorly, but on the other hand, I don't want to be judged as well.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's you're playing against other people. It's a time investment. You're supposed to be doing it for fun, and suddenly you're angry.
Yeah, like now we're mad, and my day is ruined.
I had a breakup with video games. Period. A couple years ago, and I've since texted them and got back together.
Right.
But I played a lot of Skyrim, and I was finally like, that's it. I'm wasting my time. I need to devote my energies to creative things.
Right.
And but since then, I've dabbled in a couple games. I picked up Destiny, which was fun, and then I also played a bit of Witcher 3, which if you haven't played, I think it might be up your alley.
I have played it. I love it. I'm a big fan of romances in RPGs. I enjoy that element. And any game wherein you can not only can you have a romance, but you can also have sex with that person atop a dead unicorn. Like that's a winner.
Yeah, I just got into that scene and I was like, this is ridiculous. But also, I'm so glad this is in the game because it's pretty tongue in cheek for the most part.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous, but like I have way too many thoughts on like romances in RPGs, and like I believe Witcher genuinely does them very well because like in Dragon Age, and I get in trouble for bringing this up because a lot of BioWare people follow me, and I expect they don't like it, but I've always found the romances in Dragon Age to be a little creepy.
Oh, yeah?
Because you just, like, the idea that how it's supposed to go is you do things and then one of your companions becomes attracted to you. Mm-hmm. But we know that's not how it works. You just find the one that you think is sexiest.
Yeah.
And then you romance them by finding out what they like. And then you're not really playing a role anymore.
Huh.
You just, like, if you're a brave, reckless warrior, but you want to romance the girl who likes virtue and chastity, one minute you'll be bashing in heads and killing people, and then when you talk to her, you'll say, like, oh, yes, it's such a shame that we are so violent, and you just do this until you get the romance scene.
Yeah, it's real deceptive. Yeah, I never really thought of that. I played that game, and I kind of identified that about the game. It's like, oh, I just have to go ahead and choose the right things for each character.
Yeah, but it feels like cheating, because like I'm not the savage conqueror. I'm the sensitive guy around this lovely woman.
I think that game's teaching bad behavior.
That's teaching some bad morals.
Don't be selling bones, guys.
Don't be selling dwarf bones.
You're gonna get in trouble.
You'll regret it.
But hey, man, Sam, thanks so much for joining me on the show. It was a pleasure to have you.
You know what? Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed this.
If you want to support Tales from the Tavern, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/TFTTpod. Guys, don't forget to visit samsykes.com, follow at Sam Sykes Swears, and any parting messages for our Christmas listeners on this frosty episode of Tales from the Tavern. The tavern windows are frosted.
You know, friends, just don't sell bones. Don't sell bones, and family is cool.
Family is cool. Don't sell bones. And don't be afraid to tell your brother or your sister that you love them.
Aww.
I mean, that's okay. We're going to get a little sweet. We got a little sweet.
We got a little saccharine.
Now let's get out of here. What do you say?
Let's have our way.
Guys, have a wonderful holiday. Sam, I hope you have a wonderful holiday yourself.
And you as well, my friend.
Thank you. I will be making merry, drinking plenty of wine.
Exactly.
Yes, I hope everyone is. So have a wonderful holiday, folks. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Theme music was provided by Ian Bennett. You can check out more of his work at ianbennettmusic.com. Interstitial and end themes were created by Toursland. You can listen to more of his work at soundcloud.com/Toursland. Podcast artwork was provided by Ryan Jampol. And I'd like to thank the following Patreon supporters who help make this show possible. Thank you, Joachim Sandberg, Asim Zaman, Robert Codd. Thank you, Stefan Kuwabara, Robert Moon, Dak Prinky, Justin Smith, Nick Hayes, Liam Rogertson, Kevin, Alan M.K. Jenkins. I hope the MK stands for Mortal Kombat. Thank you, Fred Atkins, Bryce Poulin, Evan Bauer, Richard Williams, Nicholas Hall. Thank you, Matt Cross, Zhang Keefe, Jesse Battolino, Thomas Hardacker, Timothy Johnson, Joey Gonovichev, Paul Walker. Thank you, Evan Stone, Macho Muffin Randy Savage, Michael Vasadka. Thank you, Axel Rock, Ethan Obema, William Fortin, John Luke. Thank you, J.T. Radzai. Thank you, Coyd Grey Wolf Perry. Thank you, Joe Scott, Cody Kloninger, David Sandoval. Thank you, Tim Jennings, Brock Mizikow, Jonas Blotterman, Hannah Diaz, Benjamin, The Slinky Knight. Thank you, Brian Wood, Jacob Livingston, David Lee, Heath Robinson, Gordon Dale, Derek Dalton, Aubrey Sitterson. Thank you, Andre Villanueva. Thank you, Mike Cargiglio. Big Stank McBluejeans. He's still at it, that Big Stank. Thank you, David Gray, Wade Norcross, Russell Kasberg, Taylor Dirks, Johnny Sousa. Thank you, Ryan Kolka, Zach Huseman, Jonathan Carville, Daniel Medavere, Juan Holguin, Jordan Cope, Roger Ruda. Thank you, Kirby Taylor, Joseph Dukes, David Hugh-Tailing, Joseph Richard Toyohama. Thank you, Luke Noodles, Sev Batista, Dustin Dizzlerod, Pat, Timothy Matt Scully. Thank you, Ty McMillan, Alex, Brian De Leon, Eric Japp. Thank you, Dan Archer, David Watts, Luke, Simon Buchanan, TJ Denter. Thank you, Ben E., Nicholas Cole, Brian Shelbourne, Connor Stewart, Hollis Hornbeak, Josh Shumnay. Thank you, Zachary Stephen, Todd Bryanton, Matt Branton, Nicholas Riley. Thank you, Clay McCarty, Yanni Markovina, Peter Eng, Brad Davis. Thank you, Nathan Galindo, James Archibald, Jason, Teresa Steele, Cal Woods Butterman. Thank you, Dylan McCann, Jacob Bengert, and thank you, Tyler Gravius. Thank you all for making this a great year of making Tales from the Tavern, folks. I appreciate your support immensely, and I'll see you next year. Hey, how about that? See you real soon, buddies. Bye-bye.